Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you some stuff that I have picked up in my local thrift stores and my local Goodwill. Alright, thanks for joining me today. I like to do these videos, usually once every few months. I kind of build up a few things that I picked up in my local thrift stores that are survival and preparedness related, and I bring them to you to show you. We have a bunch of thrift stores here, and yes, this is a rural area, so it's a little more conducive to finding outdoorsy type stuff and camping and survival gear. But if you look hard enough anywhere, eventually you will find some good stuff. Our local Goodwill seems to be a really excellent resource here. I don't know why, it just seems to always have these amazing deals. Some of you might remember the last video I did like this. I got one of those old Coleman white gas pump lanterns, you know, you pump it up to light it. And other than needing a cleaning and needing some new mantles, it was perfectly good. I still have it over on the other side there, and I've used it a few times. The thing works great, didn't have anything wrong with it. It was just dirty and needed a little bit of touch-up. So you can really find some good deals out there, you know, if you search your thrift stores. Now, some of this is Goodwill and some of this is thrift stores. We're going to start off with one thing here. You guys may have seen these. Okay, these are these little packable grills. Now, yes, this does have little fold-ups on the end. I kind of like it, though, because I think it would be handy. The purpose of these little grills, they're very popular in the bushcraft community and camping community, is that you basically have your little portable grill, stove, oven, whatever, with you everywhere you go. All you need to do, put a couple of rocks underneath, set it down, light a fire underneath, and you've got yourself a cooking surface. So if you're going really, really ultralight, something like this is awesome. Heck, I've even seen people split a log, put one here and one on this side, and light the fire underneath. If the log burns, who cares? It's all part of the fire. This was 50 cents, okay? These start online for around $14 to $20 depending. If you don't find one of these and you're interested in picking one up, there is a company I recommend called Expedition Research. They sell a small one, a half-size one, like that will fit on your little fold-together stoves, your little Exotic stoves and stuff. And they sell a full-size one about like this, but it's flat. It doesn't have the edges. But that's 20 bucks. This was 50 cents. So we're going to be doing a video with this later. I'm going to try it out, test it out later on in a video. We're going to cook something with it, but I like it. I mean, heck, I've been meaning to try this method of cooking out. And, you know, during an emergency, during a disaster, during a power outage, whatever, all you need is 2 rocks and some wood underneath, and you've got yourself a little grill. Next item. It's the big item with multiple pieces in the back. I already have one of these. For those of you that don't know, this is an AeroPress. It's a coffee maker. It cost me $1.99. I don't think they knew what they had because it was in a plain brown box. And I always check those boxes. Kind of works like this. This is your holder for your filters, okay? They're little individual wrapped filters. And I only brought this part here to show you. This is from my other one, okay? This did not come with everything. These are the filters. So if you would have bought this, if you would have just seen just this, you probably wouldn't have known what it was. It was just these pieces here. But I wanted to show you how it works real quick. You turn off this bottom part here, you stick this filter in, close it back up, pour your coffee in, and you can use this to ladle your coffee in, and take that out, put your cup under here. I'm just using this, but you put a cup, of course, and just push down. The reason I picked this up, I already have one, but the reason I picked this up is because I always worry about these rubber kind of things, rubber seals and stuff. I was using this for a while. I'm afraid the seal might deteriorate or break off or whatever. So for a dollar and change, I got myself another one. Not to mention, this is a good barter item, a good item you can lend to a friend in a power outage if they don't have a coffee maker, whatever. So, that was another deal. Second to last, and we'll get to this one soon, I promise you. Second to last is this guy here. This is a saw, foldable saw. At first, when I looked at it, I thought it was a Silky, because it kind of has the design of the Silky saw and the same kind of method of the lockup and everything. Turns out, after I looked it up, it's an Ozark Trail saw. I think they run, I want to say $9 or $12, or I don't know. This was $1, okay? I have a bunch of these, but this one's going to live in my garage and just be my, everyday pruning saw. Plus, it gives me more practice. I can use it while I'm out there pruning branches and cleaning up my property, and it gives me more practice working with it. It doesn't seem to be have used very much. I can see a couple little marks on it where somebody cut something with it. There were a few little bits of wood shavings inside. The teeth on this thing are huge, and it does seem to cut on the pull. So you're going to push it through and it cuts on the pull. So when you pull it back, you're actually doing the cutting. But for $1, I mean, heck, it's always good to have extras. And again, I like that 2 is 1 and 1 is none. So if you have 1 of something and it breaks, you got nothing. If you've got 2, I probably have about 4 of these types of saws, including Baco and all that. But it's a handy little thing. And again, this is to get you started. In a bug out bag, if you had to cut some trees down, limbs, whatever, to build a shelter, to build a fire, this will work and it will get you started. And it will give you another tool in your survival gear. Lastly, this. Now I'm going to set this up and show you. I'll give you a quick explanation. When I found this, it was on the bottom rack in a Goodwill. It was very rusty, very dirty. The lid didn't seem to close right. This is a Coleman 2-burner stove. It was filthy. There were bugs and crud inside of it. It was really, really dirty. So I'm going to show you how I fixed it up and how I restored it and made it work. But let me set it up first. All right, if you're noticing, this thing has a wild paint job on it. That was my fault. When I picked it up, it was really, really dirty and rusty. There were a lot of areas where the usual green Coleman paint, kind of similar to this color, was practically all off it. The stickers were hanging off the front and top here. So I figured, you know what? It's kind of rough. It's kind of rusty. I'm going to refinish the whole thing. So the first thing I did was test it when I got it home, even as dirty and as messy as it was. And the burners worked. They weren't great. There was some burning out of the sides here and not on this side and a little bit over here and not over here. But it worked. It was a sealed unit. It could be fixed. So the first thing I did was I took off the grill and cleaned it. You can still see a little bit of pitting here, but not bad. So I took off the grill and cleaned it. And then I undid these burners. And these are just stacks. They're just little stacks of metal. Just remember the order they're in. I took them apart, scrubbed them all out. They had mud caked in there, dust, dirt, everything. And then I took this piece off. Now this piece is usually silver, okay? But it was so corroded in through here, and it had so much rust throughout it. So what I did was I sanded it down as best I could. And I really wish I'd done a video, a time-lapse video of me doing this. But it was done over like 4 or 5 days, so it would have really been long. I took off this part, sanded it down, cleaned it up, and sprayed some of that black heavy-duty barbecue paint, the high-temperature barbecue paint on it. Cleaned out the inside, got all the junk and wood chips and everything out of it. And tested it again. Put these back together and tested it again. And sure enough, they burn perfectly. And we'll show you that in a sec. The next step was to just clean up the outside, give it a light sanding. And I just used my sponge camo for this. I figured, I did it all this plain, light brown color, this desert tan. And it looked kind of lame and boring. So I decided I just used little sponges. I spray some spray paint on some kind of soft, smooth surface, like the shiny part of a cardboard box. Take a sponge, I dip it in, and I just do it with the 2 other multiple colors. I use the camo paints. Let me show you. These guys here from Walmart. And I just cleaned it up. So I'm not looking to make it beautiful, but if it gets scratched up, it's not as noticeable. And if it does get beat up during a trip, I can always just touch it up with some sponge camo. So I'll put it together for you and we'll check out how it works. Now a couple words about working on this stuff yourself. Make sure you know what you're doing, but they're not hard to work on. I learned everything I know about Coleman stoves from watching YouTube videos. I got up online, I looked at how to take these things apart, I looked at how it works, I watched people use them, and I learned what I could learn from YouTube videos. YouTube's a great resource. Yeah, there's a lot of silly stuff on here too, but YouTube is a great resource for learning how to fix stuff. I don't recommend people go on YouTube and look up surgery and how to do surgery on themselves, but definitely a good place to look up stuff like this. So anyway, I do have a couple extra of these regulators, but this one worked. It came with the stove, so I just kind of polished it up, cleaned it up, was good to go. It had that, I don't know what they call it, but it's the stuff that gets on aluminum. It's kind of like a white kind of calcium deposit. I'm not sure what it is, but it just came right off with some steel wool. And that's what I used to rough up the paint a little bit where it wasn't very roughed up. Back here was the worst. It was seriously rusted all through back here. So, you know, a little bit of sanding, a little bit of scrubbing, and my paint job, and it's good to go. So we're going to turn it on. There you go. And there you go. And I'm going to dim the light so you can see how perfectly blue these were. When I first started, there's still a little yellow spark once in a while. When I first started, these things were spitting out yellow everywhere. It's just the crud that was in them. So let me dim the lights quickly so you can see. Now when I turn them up, they still spit a little bit, but not bad. And that's probably leftover steel wool and cleaning and scrubbing from... You can see they work pretty darn good. So now the best part of this, okay? This was on the shelf for $8. 8 and change. Like $8.97 or something, or $8.60 something. I didn't really pay much attention. I picked it up and I looked at it and said, oh wow, that's cool. Good project. When I took it up to the counter, it had a green price tag on it, and the day I bought it, green price tags were 50% off. So I got this for 4 and change. This is usually anywhere from $40 to $50 in Walmart or online. So again, the reason I do these videos is to let you guys know, when it comes to prepping supplies, you can start so inexpensively. Takes a little bit of work, takes a little bit of dedication. You got to go to these stores and check them, you know, at least a couple times a week. But, you know, for something like this, and people will say, well, what's your time worth? Well, you know, what did it take? A couple of days, maybe 20 minutes here, 40 minutes there. At the most total, maybe 2 hours to clean it up and restore it. Plus, it was a fun project. I learned how my equipment works, and I know how to fix it in the future. Now, I have a lot of these stoves. I probably won't be doing any more videos on new Coleman dual burner stoves because I have so many of these now. I have about, I would say, 4 or 5. So, anyway, I just wanted to show you some neat stuff that you can pick up if you hunt down your local thrift stores and your local Goodwills and stuff. And this will probably be here in a future video, this little grill, and I'll show you how to use it. But yeah, all in all, I'm pretty pleased with my my haul for the past couple of, I would say, probably a month and a half of just going in. And I mean, there's a lot of stuff I don't buy because I have so many. If you need a knife or something, they've got tons of knives in these places sometimes. So there's a lot of stuff I don't buy because I already have it. But this is just a small little sampling of stuff that I picked up. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to check out your local, you know, thrift stores and Goodwills. And there was a place I used to shop years ago. It was a Red Cross thrift store. They had some cool stuff in it. Don't forget to check out those thrift stores and save yourself some money. And especially if you're just starting out on this and you don't want to spend a ton of money, it's an excellent way to do it. Anyway, don't forget to check out our Amazon links down below, our Amazon store down below. You don't need to buy anything in the store. Just click the link and head on out to Amazon and buy what you normally buy. I do have a lot of good survival gear in the store, stuff that I've tested. But if you're not buying that today, that's fine. Buy whatever you're going to get. Don't forget to check out our Thrive Life store. I do have an interesting Thrive Life order coming in, and I'm kind of going to have a theme with it too. But it's going to be a neat little Thrive Life order. We're gonna actually use this stove to cook some of that stuff. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching. Stay safe and stay prepared.